And finally, we ran an influencer campaign with the goal of getting creators to post content about the case and really explain why Trump's disqualification was not a political issue, but rather a constitutional one. So that content has generated almost 600,000 organic impressions to date. This is across Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And thousands of likes, comments, reshares, many of which are directly thanking crew for their role in the case.
We facilitated a very well-attended press conference right in front of the steps that included Jason Murray, who argued the case, as well as Norma Anderson, our 91-year-old lead plaintiff, who is just amazing. And I hope everyone's seen her story out there. Thank you, everyone. And let's save democracy again.
As the 2024 presidential election approaches, Americans are witnessing something that's never been attempted before. Efforts in multiple states to bar the current frontrunner for the Republican nomination, Donald Trump, from the presidential ballot. The following recording is a leaked company call from within a New York City-based PR company, Berlin Rosen, as they celebrate their efforts to support CREW, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, the organization responsible for funding the Colorado ballot lawsuit that has now made its way to the Supreme Court. Thanks to a brave insider concerned by what they believe to be anti-American efforts within the PR company, you can now listen in as Madison Avenue newsmakers celebrate their efforts to save democracy.
With Colorado barring Trump from being on the state's primary ballot, which the Supreme Court heard oral arguments for yesterday. In the weeks leading up to these oral arguments, top-tier media has been really often inaccurately casting the case as an anti-democratic partisan effort when really it was exactly the opposite, and we're brought on to correct the record there. We helped recast this narrative, driving home to top-tier media and audiences that hold influence with the court that this effort is both democratic and brought by a cross-partisan group of voters, even in Republicans who voted for Trump. We also jumped in to build capacity for the CREW team, who were really inundated leading up to oral arguments. And we really knocked it out of the park, I have to say, over the last 2 weeks. We seamlessly integrated with CREW's communications team and outside advisors and ultimately succeeded in shaping coverage heading into yesterday's oral arguments.
CREW positions itself as a nonpartisan watchdog, a thin veneer which dissolves under the microscope of the group's multi-year legal war against Donald Trump. CREW hired progressive PR machine Berlin Rosen to reframe their current Colorado ballot lawsuit in the minds of the courts and the American public in the weeks leading up to its February 8th oral arguments before the Supreme Court. In this call, Berlin Rosen's employees discussed their strategies to supply media allies with talking points that will paint CREW's work as a democratic effort that's well supported by conservatives.
Hi everyone, my name is Hamad Najm and I'm in AAE on the Legal Affairs and Crisis team. Well, when a story uncritically repeats Trump supporters' claims that this is a partisan effort to remove him from the ballot, we move fast to get in touch and point out the plethora of Republicans in the case and the tried and true conservative legal arguments underpinning it. This media engagement helped shape the overall narrative or a more accurate view of the case and bipartisan support. Our sharp monitoring also allowed us to identify newsjacking opportunities, such as the Illinois Board of Elections hearing on Trump's ballot eligibility and Matt Gaetz's House resolution stating that Trump is not an insurrectionist, which our team definitely used to further inject our spokespeople into the conversation and highlight their unique arguments in support of the case. And when all this great prep work finally came to a head on the day of oral arguments, our team pushed out the advisory widely, coordinated inquiries, and let our fantastic team on the ground do their magic as they coordinated a hugely successful press conference on the steps of the Supreme Court, highlighting the litigants and attorneys.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm an account supervisor on the Strat Camp team. And for our digital support, we helped out the CREW and PD team with content creation, social media monitoring, and influencer engagement. We also set up a very robust social media listening system to help track a lot of the online discourse that was happening, following top hashtags, top creators, on all sides of the issue, really, to capture the conversation as fully as possible. And finally, we ran an influencer campaign with the goal of getting creators to post content about the case and really explain why Trump's disqualification was not a political issue, but rather a constitutional one. So we targeted about 30 political and news content creators, ranging from the center-right to the far left, and sent them a brief breaking down some of the key legal facts of the case. For an unpaid campaign, it was actually quite successful. We ended up getting 10 pieces of content from 5 different influencers. That content has generated almost 600,000 organic impressions to date. This is across Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And thousands of likes, comments, reshares, many of which are directly thanking Crew for their role in the case.
Truly legendary team. It was really amazing. And all this work culminated yesterday at the Supreme Court, where we were on the ground helping Crew build a press presence at the court, outside of the court. We facilitated a very well-attended press conference right in front of the steps that included Jason Murray, who argued the case, as well as Norma Anderson, our 91-year-old lead plaintiff, who is just amazing. And I hope everyone's seen her story out there. She really was an inspiration to us, as well as other plaintiffs and spokespeople from Crew. We are not fully done. The decision is going to come sometime soon, hopefully before the end of the month. And so we're doing some planning for that. But it's been a real big push ahead of oral arguments yesterday. Y'all have been amazing. Strategy First heroes. Thank you, everyone. And let's save democracy again.
As this pivotal case is set to be decided any day by the Supreme Court, stay tuned as we continue to examine the expansive network that combines lawfare, dark money, and PR experts to disrupt the 2024 election and shape the minds of the American public.